Good morning, everyone. It's great to see everybody. We'll just wait for the CSAC teams to give us the heads up when they're all ready to go. Thank you for being here.
Recording in progress.
Okay, good morning, commissioners. We're going to go ahead and begin our meeting. So if you're, getting coffee, grab your coffee, get your camera on, head over there, do what you need to do. We got a few seconds, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you again so much for being here. And I know we're in different parts of California, which is awesome. So at this time, I'll go ahead and call to roll our California Student Aid Commission meeting for today, Thursday, January 15th, 2026 at 9:05 a.m. Before we start our meeting, I'm going to turn it over to Catherine, who's going to provide us a brief overview of our meeting procedures and protocols. Thank you, Catherine, for being here.
Thank you, Chair Cifuentes. Welcome everyone to the January 15, 2026 California Student Aid Commission meeting. Today, to access today's agenda, please visit our website at csac.ca.gov. Navigate to the About tab, select Commission from the left menu, and select Meeting Schedule and Materials. From there, you will find the meeting in blue. Members of the public may comment on specific agenda items or during the public forum. In-person attendees at the 11120 International Drive, Suite 100, Rancho Cordova, California, must complete a public comment card available at the board liaison table. Virtual attendees may use the raise hand feature on the Zoom platform. After each agenda item, individuals will be called to address the commission in the order requests we receive. We have 7 confirmed locations for today's meeting. We will begin with the public comments in Rancho Cordova and subsequently move to other locations in alphabetical order and wrap up the virtual comments. You will each have 2 minutes. A quick reminder that closed caption is available via the Zoom platform. To enable this icon, click the CC icon at the bottom of the screen. This concludes my remarks, and I will hand it to Chair Cifuentes to get us started.
Thank you, Catherine. All right, at this time, we'll go ahead and get started with a roll call, please.
Thank you. I'll begin with Chair Cifuentes.
Present.
Commissioner Cardosa.
Present.
Commissioner Patrick Day.
Present.
Commissioner Doppelmore.
Present.
Commissioner Dow. Commissioner Dow.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Gary. Commissioner Haynes.
Present.
Commissioner Secretary Maxey.
Present.
Commissioner Ferguson.
Present.
Commissioner Robinson. Commissioner Rodriguez.
Present, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Commissioner Saravia. Commissioner Valladolid. And Commissioner Vang. We have now established quorum. I will hand it back to Chair Cifuentes.
Thank you so much, Catherine. All right, we'll move on to item number 2, our chair's report. Good morning and Happy New Year. It's great to see all of you at 2026, right? Crazy. Just happy to be here this morning and happy to just really share all the positive news and information we're going to receive with the team, especially around the governor's budget and all the continued contributions he makes and commitments he and the legislature make to our students in California. So excited for today. Today we're so excited to welcome one of our newest commissioners, the first meeting, and he's here already, Mr. Chris Ferguson, who you'll hear a little bit more about too. I'm sure Dr. Gonzalez is going to share some information, and we're just so excited to have him join our commission. And he already on his onboarding meeting has all these ideas, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're ready for this team. So it's we're excited for that, and we're also at the same time I'm excited to celebrate David O'Brien today as well. As we, I don't want to say goodbyes. We just say thank you to David O'Brien and all he's done for our commission and for CSAC, not only working with CSAC, but now as a commissioner. I don't know CSAC without David. From the first day I was appointed, that's one of the first people I met as part of the commission, and he's just been such an amazing partner. So we're excited to say thank you to David, but of course not goodbye. We know we'll still be working with David. I hope your year's been off to a great start, and I know we're moving and shaking. I know the team's going to share exciting news and how we're up on financial aid numbers. Always still plenty of work to do for the students of California, but it's exciting to see, considering everything going on in the world. We're still seeing students that want higher education, that are accessing higher education, that are making these commitments. So I know we'll hear more about that today in our meeting. And I know Commissioner Max already put it in the chat, but happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's day weekend. I think it's a whole weekend here in Riverside County. We do a 5K fundraiser run here, a marathon on Monday. And so it's exciting. My daughter, who's 17, she's like, Mom, we can't go anywhere. I gotta work the marathon. So she'll be there on Monday, working that with her school. So just want to say, thank you, Commissioner Maxey, for reminding us for those commitments and for, his work, trailblazing work for students and families. So thank you for reminding us. With that, I know we want to get going. Zoom meetings are always hard, so we always like to keep it moving. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our Executive Director for item number 3, Dr. Daisy Gonzalez.
Good morning, Commissioners. We've made it to 2026. Happy New Year. I stay awake at night thinking, of course, about our CSAC blueprint. So that means we only have 4 years to achieve it. Now that we've made it to the year 2026, I wanted to start off this morning, of course, by saying thank you for joining us. Deep gratitude to all of the different colleges and districts that host us already, and certainly will be continue to host us this year. Cal State LA, UC Riverside, San Bernardino County Office of Education, San Bernardino Community College District, San Diego Community College District, Compton College, and of course, Riverside County Office of Ed. Really grateful for the team. I know last time we had 11 locations. Today we have 7. But I think today the most active one is certainly here at CSAC's Rancho Cordova office, because we're celebrating David O'Brien. We're also onboarding new team members in our government relations team, and of course, welcoming our newest commissioner, Commissioner Ferguson. So you heard us this morning, a lot of activity here. I wish you could all be here, but I'm really grateful that you're able to join us today for this shorter meeting. I wanted to start the year off, of course, it's only been a month since we last saw you, but there has been a lot of activity from the CSAC team. And I wanted to really focus today on photographs, because I'm not the one that's doing all this work. I certainly cannot do this work alone. We do it with our staff, we do it with our commissioners. And so, yes, I could talk about the many updates in the last 30 days, but really the real action has been on the ground. I want to make sure that I acknowledge our CASFA colleagues, which is the California Association of Financial Aid Directors, who welcomed us in December. We were able to meet with all of the different segments at their breakfast meetings, hear their concerns, but also share the blueprint and where we're headed. In that same conference, we were able to share a new campaign that we've started in partnership with Immigrants Rising, I Heart California Dream Act. It's our effort to ensure that we could continue to address the declines in CADA, but more importantly, empower the professionals on the ground who are doing this work. Do they know how to communicate with students and families, and what type of tools do they need? And so I'm really grateful to Immigrants Rising and to CASFA for allowing us to partner with them and to launch this at their conference. We also received a recognition from CASFA for the partnership, and so on this slide you see our Chief Deputy Catalina Missler and Deputy Director Kang, who were there to receive the award. If we go to the next slide, Maria and Kat, thank you. We also then launched in January this month. We already had our all-in webinar. We were joined by Eloy Ortiz Oakley, the CEO of College Futures. We were also joined by Commissioner Cardosa. So when I saw her this morning, I said, it feels like I already saw you this year. But we were seeing each other for the first time in person this morning. You also see a transition of leadership, lots of ceremonies in January. I know some of you were able to join Senator Monique Limon, now Senate President Pro Tem Limon, the first Latina, the first working mother to be in this role, also leading alongside her Chief of Staff, Mariana Coronado, the first Latina to serve in that role. So we are joining California today in a really historic year. But more importantly, these are individuals who know our work. And of course, I want to acknowledge that on some of the photos that you see on this slide, Senator Limon, who I know personally from my Santa Barbara days when I lived there and went to grad school, of course, saved the best surprise for her own community in Santa Barbara. And so you should see in these slides Kamala Harris, our former Vice President of the United States. And then I want to also acknowledge our statewide implementation work group. They join us every month. This month, we gathered around the data that Dr. Moldoff presented. There are 10 regions where we needed to focus on as we head into March 2nd. And during that meeting, everyone rolled up their sleeves. They're either doing a video for that community, redirecting all of their social media and their paid media, or they're hosting an event. That leaves CSAC with having to only go to 3 additional communities that we would be adding between now and March 2nd. And so I want to say thank you. It represents 20 different organizations, all of our segment partners, our student associations, and everyone in that room just rolls up their sleeve to get the work done. You should be seeing when we share those numbers, we are on track to increase applications this year for overall applications, certainly for FAFSA. We still, though, however, have a decline in CADA. It's a historic multi-year decline. Right now, as of this moment, right, this week, we still have a 15% decline in CADA. And that should concern all of us. Of course, there are many reasons why this is happening, and we will continue to do everything that we can and certainly have more conversations as a commission. And like the previous slide showed us, we should be having courageous conversations. We'll share a little bit more during your government relations and certainly the update on the state budget because there's a lot more to be done there, certainly as we're thinking about our advocacy this year. With that, Chair Cifuentes, I wanted to just say thank you to everyone. Thank you for the work that our team is already launching. All of our partners statewide, we continue to get closer to March 2nd, and there's a lot of work going on across the state. I wanted to end by just showing you some of the events that our partners are having. As you know, many of these partners are actually our CalSOAPs, RCOs. One of those big events is actually happening in the San Diego region next week, and then certainly a lot of webinars and a lot of Cash for College events from our incredible team here at CSAC. So with that, I'll hand it back to you, Chair Cifuentes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gonzalez. Do we have any questions about what Dr. Gonzalez just shared from any of our commissioners? And in hearing none, do we have any public comment on this item? Okay, all right, thank you so much. Well, at this time we'll go, thank you, Dr. Gonzalez, for the updates, and I know a lot happening all over the state, and so thank you for making sure we thank all the CalSOAPs and all the different partners we have supporting students. All right, at this time, we're gonna go ahead and move to item number 4. Item number 4 is a presentation of resolution to David O'Brien, our former commissioner, and we're excited to have some guests here today to celebrate David. So I'll turn it back over to you, Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Chair Cifuentes and commissioners. This is our celebration time, so as soon as we get the formal part done, we will invite you all to also chime in, so get comfortable. It's our deep honor here at the California Student Aid Commission to present a resolution to David O'Brien. If you could join us, David O'Brien, our former commissioner, former leader here at the California Student Aid Commission, and certainly Vice Chancellor at the California Community College's Chancellor's Office by daytime. This morning, we are joined by several partners, a really special moment. And David, we were trying to figure out, how do we say thank you? Thank you for all the work that you've done for California students, for the California Student Aid Commission, for being a champion. And we didn't feel like we were the appropriate people to say it. And so this morning, we actually partner with the SSCCC, and certainly with one of the most incredible student leaders that we have at the SSCCC, Alicia, who I have seen present in hearings, in webinars, in videos, recording her own videos about financial aid. She's also a student representative of the SSCCC in our Student Advisory Council. And so that was our solution to say, how do we help David understand the impact that he's having in this world? So I actually want to talk about Alicia. She's a student at Folsom Valley College, but duly enrolled. She's duly enrolled at CSU Sacramento, Sac State, for those of you who know it that way. And very importantly, she is the Legislative Affairs Vice President for the Student Center for California Community Colleges. She's passionate about ensuring that everyone has equitable access to education by advocating for increased financial aid, alongside not just thinking about the formal ways in which we provide aid, but also basic needs. And so with that, I want to hand it over to Alicia.
this. Okay. Whereas Mr. David R. O'Brien was appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom in August 2021 as the California Community College representative to the California Student Aid Commission, and whereas Mr. O'Brien has served with distinction as a commissioner during his August 21 November 2025 term, consistently demonstrating a deep commitment to advancing college affordability, financial aid access, and student-centered policy across the state of California. And whereas Mr. O'Brien has served as the Vice Chancellor for Government Relations for the California Community College Chancellor's Office since April 2020, where he oversees the development and advancement of the legislative agenda for the California Community Colleges, and represents the Chancellor's Office before the legislature and executive branch of both state and federal governments. And whereas prior to joining the Chancellor's Office, Mr. O'Brien served as Director of Government Affairs for the California Student Aid Commission, serving as the agency's primary liaison to the legislature, the Governor's Office, the California Department of Finance, and other state agencies on matters related to financial aid and college affordability, playing a pivotal role in efforts to reform and expand California's financial aid programs. And whereas before his tenure at the Student Aid Commission, Mr. O'Brien held multiple roles in state government, including legislative manager for the California Department of State Hospitals, legislative analyst for the California Department of Mental Health, and legislative analyst for the California Environmental Protection Agency. And whereas Mr. O'Brien holds a bachelor's degree in political science and government from California State University, Sacramento, and is a long-standing public servant who has dedicated his career to advancing public education, state policy, and equity-driven systems change. And whereas throughout his term, Mr. O'Brien has consistently demonstrated integrity, leadership, and a strong dedication to expanding opportunities for students across California's higher education systems. And whereas in recognition of his service to student-led advocacy, Mr. O'Brien will continue his work as an advocate through scholarship and policy engagement, including the completion of his master's degree, during which he authored The Price of Cost Containment, a critical policy history of the California Master Plan for Higher Education. And whereas the Commission recognizes his unwavering commitment to the Commission and to the students of California who have benefited immensely or immeasurably from his distinguished role as an advocate for financial aid programs that help students gain access to an education beyond high school. Therefore, be it now resolved that the Commission and its staff commend Mr. David R. O'Brien for his exemplary leadership, dedicated service, and contributions as a member of the California Student Aid Commission and service in data, research, and strategic planning and student impact, outreach, and communications committees. And be it further resolved that the Commission and its staff wish him continued personal and professional success in all future endeavors.
Thank you, Alicia. I'm not sure if you wanted to add anything special from SSCCC.
Vice Chancellor O'Brien has been a longstanding partner of the Student Senate, meets with us monthly with the government relations team, and we're really excited to continue our work with him and thank him for everything he's done for the student population.
Thank you, Alicia. Chair
Thank
Cifuentes?
you so much, Alicia. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for being here and for, I think I'm with Dr. Gonzalez, hearing from the students is just, that's why you're why we're here. You're why he gets up early, stays up late. So many students, thousands of students, he probably never will get to meet. He works tirelessly for. So thank you so much for being here. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up to any of our commissioners if they wanted to share any remarks. You can go ahead and use the raise hand feature, or if you're in Rancho Cordova, maybe the team can tell us if you're there and you'd like to say something.
I'll kick it off and just say that we're going to miss David. I wish our body had the veto power to say, no, you can't leave. But I know that we'll be seeing you around, sir. So thank you for all you've done.
I'll echo the gratitude, David. I didn't get to know you very long, so I've just started in July and so only had a couple of months with you, but I have already learned so much from you, and just really want to thank you for your service and the work that you will continue to do, and I know that we'll continue to work together, so thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Any?
You're muted.
Please.
Oh. Catalina, can you hear me? This is Deborah Maxey.
Yes, we can, Commissioner Maxey. Go.
Hi. David, I know that you will continue to receive a lot of thank yous from everyone, and I too would like to thank you for what you have done with the commission. And I would like to also add that I know that you will not stay away long. We will see you again with the commission, either in front formally with the commission or in whatever capacity you serve in your professional life. You won't go far from us, I know. You can't. It's not in your DNA. And I wish you well in school.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I'll pop in. This is Commissioner Gary. Again, I'm going to miss you. I've always been impressed by the thoughtfulness of your questions and how you saw things. It helped me look at things from a different light many, many times. Know we will cross paths again somewhere, but best of luck to you as you move on to your next chapter.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, commissioners, and thank you, David, for being here. And you know, you know how you've been phenomenal. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have this seat still if it wasn't for some of all the work and support you provided and guidance, and just you really helped me understand how Sacramento works and how laws work, and how I came to you just, why can't we just do this? And he's like, well, you know, just patience with me and explaining it to me and making sure I understood. You know, it wasn't like it was impossible. It was just, we're going to have to navigate it differently. And maybe we can't get all of it in 1 year, but we can get some of it for students. And you've taught me so much that I've brought back that maybe you'll never get credit for here in our county, but just navigating so many opportunities for students and how to do that. And so I thank you. We've been able to do so much that we have. And a lot of times, whether you were working at CSEC or now as a commissioner, you're behind the scenes, right? You didn't want to get credit. You didn't ask for it. You just supported the work, and you're about the mission for students. And so I just want to say thank you. And I will not say goodbye, because I know you're going to continue to work with us and understand the mission. But for me personally, just thank you for everything you've done. And I've taken so much that I've learned from you about this work. Is definitely a marathon, right? And you're not going to get everything, Catalina, right away, but maybe you'll get some wins for your students. And I think of some of the things we've been able to do, just even in my county and even in my work in some of our districts, because of things that I've learned from you and things I've learned here, to help them with their school boards and other things. So thank you for your commitment. And like I said, it will not be goodbye. We'll see you probably in a meeting soon, but thank you for everything. And I don't know CSEC without David. So thank you. And with that, I'll turn it back to you if you want to say a few words, David.
Thank you so much, everyone. I'm pretty floored and pretty speechless by all of those wonderfully kind remarks and that beautifully written resolution, which only sounds a little bit like a eulogy, the way it's summarizing my career there. And thank you so much, Alicia, Vice President Nagpal, for being here and for participating in that. I think you all probably knew, Dr. Gonzalez especially, you knew what it would mean to me to have a fellow student leader and the SSCCC present for something like this. But I just want to say that it really has been a privilege to serve alongside all of you, to work with you at CSAC, to do this work with you, right? I mean, the couple of remarks about, wanting to thank me, I think we all know the way that we all thank each other is by continuing to support students, right? I mean, the number one thing I'll tell you right now, Dr. Gonzalez, you could do to thank me for my service is to continue working to get those FAFSA and CADA numbers up, right? And to keep reaching out to me and my colleagues in the community colleges and the other segments and partnering and doing what we can to ensure that as many students as possible can afford this journey, this higher education journey that they want to go on. So that's certainly all the thanks that I ask. I would just say, I think you're absolutely right. In some capacity or another, I'll always be supportive of the mission of CSAC. I'll always be supportive of the hard-working public servants here. You know, big thanks to the team here, everybody that I've known for so many years, and the people I'm just getting to know who do outstanding work here. Big thanks to a great group of commissioners. Dr. Gonzalez, you and your leadership team, I'm so pleased that you're here at this moment in time in particular, because those of us that worked with you at the community college's chancellor's office when we were faced with another national crisis in 2020, the COVID pandemic and everything that entailed, I think that seeing the sort of slow rolling national crisis of uncertainty happening right now, it makes me feel a lot more comfortable about the future of our students, knowing that you are here in this role. So thank you for being here and for all of the heart you've always led with. It was very appropriate to see in your report some photographs of former Chancellor Eloy Ortiz Oakley, because he was the Chancellor of the community colleges and you were the Deputy Chancellor when I came to you with a crazy idea in the summer of 2021 about, hey, what if I applied for that vacant seat on the Student Aid Commission? And so I can't say enough about the support you've given me personally and professionally, and I can't say enough about this team. And I want to see those numbers keep going up. I want to see, you know, all of the great work you're doing around everything from partnering with Cal Kids to expanding cash for colleges to the work that we're doing right now around seeing how we can align, you know, Cal Grant C and the Cal Grant program with the new Workforce Pell. I mean, the work will probably never end, and there will never quite be as many thanks as we might feel sometimes on that Friday afternoon at 6 p.m. when we're still in the office somehow and we're wondering if we're ever going to get home and be with our family, but we know that it's important for us to be doing what we're doing. And so to be able to thank each other in environments like this is very nice, and I'm just, again, honored to have gotten to work alongside so many of you. And you absolutely have not seen the last of me. Don't worry about that. Thank you.
Thank you. You can't hear it all over here, David, but everyone's applauding you all over California. So thank you so much. We're gonna let you take a quick picture in Rancho Cordova. So we'll take about 2 minutes so they can take a quick picture with David while they're there together with this resolution and Alicia. So we'll just give them about 2 minutes to do a picture. Maybe we could be in the background, Commissioner, to turn your cameras on like this. Okay, we'll give them a few minutes to take a picture. And we could do grid view with everybody, not just me, please.
Dr. Cifuentes,
Commissioners,
can you
please
come back on?
keep your cameras on. We're pinning you so we can have a complete picture. Smile big.
Back to you, Chair Cifuentes.
Okay, thank you so much. You guys are fast, like cheerleaders. They go quick, take the picture and get back to work. All right, thank you so much, David. And we're gonna miss you, David, but thank you so much for being here. All right, at this time, we're gonna go ahead and move on to item number 5. This is a commission closed session, personnel security and potential litigation, closed session. And so at this time, I will turn it over to Edmundo Aguilar, our interim general counsel.
Thank you, Chair Cifuentes. Under California Government Code Section 11126 Subdivision A, the California Student Aid Commission hereby provides public notice that it may meet in closed session regarding the appointment, employment, evaluation of performance, discipline, or dismissal of a public employee, and the report of the Personnel Evaluations Nominations Committee regarding the appointment, employment, evaluation, performance, discipline, dismissal, or of a public employee. For purposes of this notice, a public employee includes an individual exempt from civil service within the meaning of Subdivision E of Section 4 of Article 7 of the California Constitution. In addition, under California Government Code Section 11126, Subdivision E1, the Commission may also meet in closed session regarding pending litigation as defined by the Subdivision E2B1. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. At this time, we're going to move into closed session. It is 9:36, so we'll be in closed session for approximately about an hour. So I would say hopefully we're back together with you by 10:30, no later than 10:40. So thank you so much for being here, and we hope we see you back in about an hour. SAC team, just let us know when we're ready to, we'll join whatever meeting room you need us to.
Of course.
Virtually.
I will let you know.
in progress.
Okay, commissioners, we are coming back from closed session, item number 5. And there's nothing to report out, but I'll go ahead and confirm with our General Counsel Edmundo.
Yeah, there was no action taken during closed session. Nothing to report.
Okay. All right. So much. Thank you for joining us back. And we apologize. We went over a little bit of time. So we apologize for coming back a little bit later, but we'll go ahead and get started with item number 6. This is approval of our commission minutes of from December 4th, 2025. And I want to make note for that Commissioner Valladolid has joined us as well. So we'll go ahead and turn over to Catalina Missler, our Chief Deputy Executive Director.
Good morning, Commissioners. This item is approval of the Commission's minutes of December 4th, 2025. It's an action item, so I request a motion to approve the minutes for December 4th, 2025.
I have a question.
Please.
In one section that I read, I think where it listed David O'Brien, I think it should be a he and not a her.
Thank you for that note, Commissioner Maxey.
Other than that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes with that correction.
I'll second it.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Maxey and Commissioner Valladolid. At this time, we'll go ahead and move to public comment for any questions for item number 6, and I'll turn it over to Catherine.
Before moving to public comment, I would like to make a note. On behalf of Commissioner Cardosa, there is one other error that will be corrected. Under Christian Osmesa ASU's name, we will change his last name to correct the misspelling. Thank you. And now I'll move to public comment. For public comment, item 6 is now open. For virtual attendees, please use the raise hand feature. We will start with in-person comments at the 11120 International Drive, Suite 100, Rancho Cordova, then move to other locations and conclude with virtual comments. With that, we have 0 public comments in Rancho Cordova. We will move on to the virtual space, beginning with Cal State Los Angeles, Compton College, Riverside County Office of Ed, San Bernardino Community College District, San Diego Community College District, University of California, Riverside, and now opening up to all other virtual attendees. With that, we have 0 public comments. Now moving forward to vote.
Okay, thank you so much. Commissioners, any comment on this item before we move to vote? Okay, Kat, please go ahead if you can help us with roll call.
Thank you. Chair Cienfuentes.
Yes.
Commissioner Cardosa.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Doppelmore.
Abstain.
Commissioner Dow.
Abstain.
Commissioner Gary.
Abstain.
Commissioner Haynes.
Aye.
Secretary Maxey.
Aye.
Commissioner Ferguson. Commissioner Robinson.
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Aye.
Commissioner Saravia. Commissioner Valladolid.
Aye.
And Commissioner Vang. With that, we move forward.
So much, Commissioners. Thank you, Catherine. All right, at this time, we'll move on to item number 7, ratification of emergency contracts and approvals of contracts over $250,000. This is an action item, Commissioner, and I will turn over to Sandy Melching, our Interim Deputy Director of Fiscal and Administrative Services Division. And I think Catalina Missler is going to go ahead and join us again for this item, our Chief Deputy Executive Directors.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Cifuentes and Commissioners. Today, I am presenting item 7, an action item requesting ratification of emergency contracts and approval of proposed contracts over $250,000 in accordance with the Commission's governance policies and procedures. These contracts are essential to maintaining critical operations and directly support the Commission's student success blueprint around the goals of equity, access, and success. Under state law and commission policy, the executive director is authorized to enter into contracts up to $250,000. When contracts exceed that threshold, the commission approval is required. The contracts before you today exceed that amount and are therefore presented for ratification and approval to ensure transparency, compliance, and continuity of services. So the first contract that we have is with On Target Computing and Research 2015 LLC. And I'm not sure, Kat, if you were going to be presenting the attachment to the agenda item during this presentation, or would you be able to to present the attachment to the agenda item?
Yes, Sandy, we will be able to bring it up right now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Just requiring 1 second for tech.
No worries. Thank you.
Sandy, if it helps, most commissioners have it in front of them.
Oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. All right, I can keep going. All right, so the first contract is with On Target Computing and Research 2015 LLC in the amount of $523,776. For this 2-year contract, the first year would be funded through our state operations appropriation received through the Budget Act of 2025, and the second year would be paid out of the 26 Budget Act appropriation. The contract term is December 12th, 2025 through December 11th, 2027, and the purpose is for IT maintenance and operations. This contract provides critical consulting and technical services to augment the support for CSAC's Information Technology Services Division, specifically the production and operations branches. The scope includes application development, analysis, testing, implementation, and ongoing maintenance for CSAC's grant delivery system. A key focus of this contract is strengthening our identity management systems, which control access to web grants and other systems that handle sensitive student data. Protecting student personal information is a top operational and compliance priority. These services ensure stability, data security, and uninterrupted access to financial aid programs for students statewide. This work directly advances student success blueprint goal number 2 by removing financial aid barriers and ensuring equitable access and support as students enter and progress through their educational pathways. The second contract is with the Foundation for the California Community Colleges in the amount of $390,000. For this 2-year contract, the first year would be funded through the state operations appropriation received through the Budget Act of 2025, and the second would be paid through the 2026 Budget Act appropriation. The contract term is February 1st, 2026 through January 31st, 2028, and the purpose is for subleased office space. CSAC currently subleases downtown office space through an agreement that expires on January 31st, 2026, so in about 16 days. This new 2-year sublease secures continued and expanded use of that space, allowing additional CSAC teams to co-locate downtown. This expansion supports greater cross-functional collaboration. It strengthens coordination with legislative staff and advocacy stakeholders and enhances our ability to engage in policy discussions that impact student access, affordability, and completion. Co-locating teams improves communication, accelerates decision-making, and increases CSAC's capacity to advance student-centered initiatives. These outcomes directly align with the Student Success Blueprint by reinforcing equity priorities, improving policy alignment, and supporting data-informed decision-making that benefits students statewide. In closing, both contracts are operationally necessary. They're fiscally aligned with approved budget authority and strategically connected to the Commission's mission and Student Success Blueprint. Staff respectfully recommends the Commission approve the ratification of emergency contracts and the approval of contracts over $250,000 as presented. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
So much, Sandy. All right, we do have a question or hand raised from Commissioner Dow or Commissioner Cal State LA or Commissioner Day.
Thank you, Chair. We got a lot going on over here.
The party's in LA.
Yeah, it always is. Sandy, thank you very much for walking us through this. Some questions for you.
Sure.
With regard to the first contract, on target computing and research, can you comment about the extent to which this is sort of a regular level of support that every organization has to their primary IT operations, or are we still in a place of trying to address some deficit areas with regard to this particular contract?
So this is actually a contract that it would have been an ongoing contract, but with state contracting laws, we can only go into contract with IT contractors for 3 years. We usually our policy is 2 to 3 years, but this particular consultant who was hired on after going through the RFO process, he will continue his work that he's been doing for years and years with the department. So it isn't really, it doesn't necessarily have to do with the deficit that we were addressing. This is just the ongoing work that this contractor had already been doing.
Okay. And so, just as a matter of clarification.
Sure.
So this contractor has been doing ongoing work that would sort of be in perpetuity, or ongoing work to try to address a deficit that I know we've been working very hard to try to be able to fix? Because I'm trying to understand, is this part just essentially a part of our expenses in an ongoing way versus for the next 3 years?
Right.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
this is a part of our expenses ongoing for the next 3 years. When we had requested last year through the BCP process, we had requested some additional OE&E funds, knowing that some of these consulting contracts were going to end this year. So we had already asked for these funds in order to support these IT contracts. And really the reason we have these contracts is because the expertise needed for these services is outside of the expertise that we have in-house. So we have to contract out for these IT services.
Sure. No, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Commissioner Day, this is Catalina. I also wanted to say that this is a software management tool for identity management. So it's part of the security. This is something that we'll need to continue to have contract services for this particular tool that is established to control the entry into our web grants systems, both on the student and the administrative level. So this is something that we continue to look at enhancements to this process, and then just to ensure that this is a top priority for us in terms of security to our system.
Understood, and thank you both. I appreciate the clarification. On the second contract, I wonder if Sandy, you can talk a little bit about, and this may be also for our executive director, talk a little about the footprint downtown and our footprint in Rancho. Just I'm trying to contextualize this particular, obviously it's a renewal, so that's clear. But then I'm hearing renewal plus an expansion. Just want to contextualize that a little bit relative to the available space that we have and how we're using it.
Sure. I think I would, relative to the footprint, I might have Dr. Gonzalez speak to that. But it does allow a little bit more space for teams to collaborate downtown. Dr. Gonzalez, can I turn it over to you to address that?
Yeah, no problem. Vice Chair Day and Commissioners, for those of you who joined us at the Sacramento downtown office, that's the space that we would be leasing. So that third floor where we were. Right now, what we have, meaning what prior executive directors entered into, is a space that only has 6 cubicles. We're going from 6 cubicles to 23 cubicles. You also only have 1 office, and we're going from 1 office to 8 small offices. That will allow all of our managers. State law requires managers to have an office, depending on the classification. When I visit in Sacramento, I am at coffee shops, I am in hallways, I am literally an orphan. The only one that has an office in downtown is our Deputy Director of Government Relations and Policy. And so we have to either borrow an office from someone else there. The other challenge with what you currently have is you have 6 cubicles and then surrounded by a lot of different partners who also sublease, which means our team can't have candid conversations about strategies. The new space allows you to have the 23 cubicles, the 8 small spaces, and all of the break rooms. I'm looking at Commissioner Robinson because she was in that space. Basically, that entire floor, you get all of the different meeting spaces, a kitchen, and that will allow our staff to be able to have meetings there. I would also envision not just allowing any of our staff members who have to collaborate to stop by, but our human resources team will be developing a plan for us, meaning when you create more spaces, you have to think about how we allow access equitably. On the other end, you also have teams right now that are siloed, right, reporting to different locations. It makes it really hard for managers. So we're expanding our footprint, getting rid of the old space, meaning the smaller space with 6 cubicles and only 1 office. That lease goes away. You expand to this, and we would still need to create the processes so that all of our staff at CSAC have equitable access to that space. Does that answer your question, Vice Chair Day?
I think it's very much so, and I appreciate it. I guess I'm wondering, and this may be a conversation for another day. I'm trying to understand a little bit about just the Rancho plus the downtown, and I'm happy to defer that conversation to another day relative to our footprint and strategy relative where we're headed. So,
Yeah,
but
no.
yes, thank you. That
And
does
happy to
help.
address that piece because we'll have to talk about it during the next item, which is the governor's proposed budget. You as a commission required that I adopt 5 goals. One of those goals was to expand our footprint and to move our offices closer to the legislature. We submitted a BCP. It was a really large BCP. It got denied, which is why we're going to talk about it in the next item. And so we have to think about possible solutions to not just have our team closer to Sacramento, but to create spaces of collaboration. The BCP was like a $75 million BCP. Every single agency in this state got denied. And so this 2-year sublease allows us to address the commission's goal to move closer, to have spaces of collaboration, while we also then continue to push our BCP, which is incredibly unlikely in this year. Happy to address more about our strategy during that item.
Okay, other questions about this item? Okay, at this time, I'll go ahead and move to public comment and give commissioners some time to take a look and if there's any additional questions before we ask for a vote.
Thank you, commissioners, for that discussion, and thank you, Chair Cifuentes, for the handoff. For public comment item, is now open. For virtual attendees, please use the raise hand feature, and we will start with in-person public comments at the 1120 International Drive, Suite 100, Rancho Cordova. We will start with in-person comments, then move to other locations and conclude with virtual comments. You will have 2 minutes. With that, we have 0 public comments in person at the Rancho Cordova office. We will move on to the virtual space. In alphabetical order, California State University, Los Angeles, Compton College, Riverside County Office of Ed, San Bernardino Community College District, San Diego Community College District, University of California, Riverside. And now I will open it up to the virtual space. With that, we have 0 public comments. I will hand it back to Chair Cifuentes.
All right, thank you so much. At this time, commissioners, I'll have call for a motion to approve item number 5.
Oh my God. Okay, now, talk.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Valvoline. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Oh, that's fine.
Commissioner
Thank you so much.
Haynes.
Commissioner Haynes, thank you so much, Commissioner Haynes. At this time, we'll go ahead and move to roll call.
Thank you.
Just real quick, Chair Cifuentes, it's item number 7.
Sorry, apologize, item number 7.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification, Catalina. I will now begin roll call. Chair Cifuentes,
Aye.
Commissioner Cardosa,
Aye.
Vice Chair Day,
Aye.
Commissioner Doppelmore,
Aye.
Commissioner Dow,
Aye.
Commissioner Gary,
Aye.
Commissioner Haynes,
Aye.
Secretary Maxey,
Aye.
Commissioner Ferguson, Commissioner Robinson,
Aye.
Commissioner Rodriguez,
Aye.
Commissioner Saravia, Commissioner Valladolid,
Aye.
and Commissioner Vang. With that, motion has passed. I will turn it back to Chair Cifuentes.
Thank you so much. All right, well, at this time, we'll go ahead and move on to item number 8. Update on our governor's proposed 2026-2027 state budget. This is an informational action item that I'll turn it over to Dr. Daisy Gonzalez, our executive director, as well as Jessica Dykeman, our policy public division deputy director. So thank you so much, Jessica and Dr. Gonzalez.
Thank you, Chair Cifuentes. As Jessica gets comfortable and we get our slides up and running, I want to start off first by expressing gratitude for our Deputy Director, Jessica Deichman, who's having our last meeting with us today. Jessica was always a leader in the state, but if you know anything about her personally, you know that her passion is actually in taxes. And there are very few people in California that can say that. Very few people that can say that they worked on it at the Franchise Tax Board, at the Department of Finance. And so today I want to make sure that I start this presentation by number 1, thanking Jessica, and 2, acknowledging the work that she's done even in her short amount of time here at the California Student Aid Commission. She's been roughly 6 months with us, and I can summarize her legacy in 3 ways. Number 1, if you recall, you met her at Southwestern College. It was her very first day with us, joining you for that retreat. And the first thing that she said during that presentation was, my primary goal will be to stabilize. She has done that through this presentation that you're about to see. The second thing that I always knew, and that was also in that presentation that she committed to us, was our job is to give options. And so we will continue to push Senate Bill 323. That continues to move forward. It was actually a bill that was turned into a 2-year bill, still one of her top priorities as she ends her weeks here with us at the commission. And then the third thing was, when she came on board, she arrived and we had a transitioning team. So she fundamentally had to think about onboarding and putting out duty statements and reimagining her division. If you recall, government relations was always a team of 3. Under her leadership, we are going from 3 to 6. And in total, right now, as of today, actually, we will have 3 out of 6 positions filled. With her leadership, she reimagined the duty statements, what that structure would look like, how to bring the California Student Aid Commission closer to elected officials. And that took a tremendous amount of work while she was still carrying the work. I see her smiling, but there were some tough moments, and this was a really big ask, particularly when you don't have a team to lead such a big role. And more importantly, she was prepping us to not just survive the prior year, but to get this year started. So I'm tremendously grateful to her. Here with us today, and as evidence of the work that she's done with us, in San Diego, you all should be meeting Danny, who you also met at the retreat. And under Jessica's leadership, he's joined our government relations team as our policy and strategic initiatives coordinator. That position, that role has not existed here at the commission, but Jessica's the one that envisioned that role for us. Then here in Rancho Cordova, you all get to meet Justin Hurst, who joins us from the Department of Finance. His role also had never existed here at the commission. He's a manager. He will be managing all the team members that have joined that team and those that we will need to backfill in that unit. Justin will be our government relations and advocacy manager. Also, we had never had a role of a manager. I'm really grateful to Jessica because she went first. We can't have a big vision without then thinking, do we have the right people and do we have the right people in the right places? And she imagined what it would look like for all of our deputy directors to be able to lead vision work and then create a structure that actually allows our deputy directors to do their job, which is now what she's leaving us with. She's leaving us with 2 roles of managers and then a key team that can help us bring the commission closer to elected officials. And so I want to thank you, Jessica. I want to thank you for that vision. I also know that you're going to do incredible things. And I hope that you still take our phone calls as we think about creating ways to connect, tax and rev to the work that we do here at the commission. I wanted to start off that way, but I also want to then hand it over to Jessica, who will lead us through her final presentation here with us.
Thank you very much. Not on. Is that better? Thank you very much for those kind words. I'm really happy and sad. So I'm sad to be leaving my team and the commission and the great work you're doing, but I'm really happy to be going back to tax. I do love tax. I know it's not for everyone, but it's for me. I'm actually going to be writing tax legislation, so that will be really fun. So if you ever have a tax question, you know where I live. And with that, as Dr. Gonzalez mentioned, I do have 2 new really great people joining my team. I think the policy team is set up for a really great session. I think we have some good insight. And I said in the beginning that my job was to stabilize. I think we've done that. I'm really happy with the way that the budget landed. As we go through the presentation, we didn't see all of our BCPs got adopted, but I do have conversations going on, and I think that there's going to be some forward movement for the commission. And most importantly, our dollars were protected. We did not see a cut in this year's budget. So that was kind of the high level, most important thing for me when I first joined. So with that, we'll kind of give a brief overview of the budget in general. So the budget came back actually with stronger than anticipated cash receipts. I wouldn't get too excited about this yet though. Typically the receipts have been a little bit off the last couple of years because of the change in the filing dates. So see, that's all going to connect back to tax. So when you bump out the filing date, especially the payment date, people tend to wait till the last minute. So you'll see a lot of payments come in later, and that's what's happened the last couple of years. So it makes sense that this year is strong because we don't have any of those delays that we had in prior years. But still, it's a resilient outlook, and Department of Finance is optimistic for the May revise. So we will see how we fare there. And I wanted to note that the governor's proposed budget includes $4.4 billion in financial aid expenditures, which includes $3.2 billion in Cal Grants. So that is still remaining our biggest chunk of money toward California students. It also, as I mentioned earlier, does sustain CSAC's funding and budget, so there are no cuts in the governor's proposed budget, which is a great sign for us. And then I also wanted to give a nod to, there's not really a lot in higher education this year, and that's because they used a lot of their energy in K-12. So you see that, as I noted on the slide, major budget investments into the new education governance structure with the Department of Education and the State Board of Education. So that's why you kind of see a little bit less activity on the higher ed side. And then I just wanted to give a quick reminder of kind of how this will work. So governor's budget came out in January. From now until April, Justin and the rest of the team will be going to testify at the budget hearings and making sure that we remain vigilant to protect CSAC's core funding, core operations, and the core Cal Grant entitlements to students. You'll then come out with May revise. This is the for governor's first attempt at trying to work with legislature. You'll see that come out in May, mid-May. And then the final budget has to be adopted by June 15th. So you'll see that, and that will be signed by the governor no later than June 30th. Then through the summer, you'll see trailer bills be adopted to kind of true up some of the loose ends, and then we start the cycle over again. So we're kind of right in the beginning of it, but the next step is hearings. And then I just wanted to give a quick overview. We do have 3 new appointed leaders. So we have some returning and we have some new. So Assemblymember Alvarez, Robert Rivas, and Chelsea Gabriel will all be continuing in the Assembly. So no changes there. But we do have a new pro tem, Senator Limon. So that will be exciting to get to work with her. And we do have Lena Gonzalez joining. And Senator Laird is not new, but he's new to this office. So these are some really strong advocates for higher ed. So I think this puts the commission in a really good place. I was really excited to see Pro Tem Limon be elected. So it's an exciting time for us. And I think with the leadership changes and then those that existed and are staying on, I think this puts CSAC in a really great position. So happy to pass it on to Dr. Gonzalez for their, oh, nope, I have one more, sorry. One more. Okay, so we're funding about $3.2 billion, and that is up from $2.49 billion from last year. So it is an increase in total funding. And we did not get any additional funding for Golden State Teacher Grant, but we did get a reappropriation. So that means that we can use the remainder of the funds that weren't spent from prior years to this year, $14.4 million. And then there was a big change in middle class scholarship proposed in governor's budget. Currently it's funded at about $1.2 billion, and that is 35% of student need. And the governor's budget proposes to change it to 17.5% of student need, which is about $556 million. So that is what I have for that. Happy to answer any questions on that at a later time.
Thank you, Jessica. I'll continue the presentation, commissioners, on slide 6. What Jessica just presented is how we stabilize the California Student Aid Commission, from our operational budget to programs. However, now we have to go through the entire budget process. We look forward to working with the governor and the administration and all of our segments and legislative leaders. We know that there are many challenges coming our way for California. However, as Jessica shared, we're in a strong position to not just balance our operational budget, but for our advocacy. And so the next few slides really take us to where should we head and how do we continue to elevate the priorities of the commission, and certainly the ones that we discussed at your September meeting, your prior meetings before we could be at this one. What's really important is to make sure that we acknowledge that maintaining funding and meeting the entitlement, certainly Cal Grant, the largest program that we operate, is really important. That growth is actually a result of all the hard work of our segments, right? So we knew that applications were up, segment enrollment goes up. We also knew that Better FAFSA did simplify a couple of things. So there are many things that resulted in those increases. So the one good thing about the state budget, and certainly the governor's proposed budget, is we are able to maintain the commitment, the promise that we are making to Californians. One big issue to really keep top of mind, if you recall, our middle class scholarship institutions and students expected that the trailable language would fund it at 35%. You're seeing it here in this proposed budget, and I'll emphasize proposed budget, at 17.5%. I'm sure there will be many discussions. What's really important to also acknowledge is it maintains our commitment to the middle class scholarship. In terms of the Golden State Teacher Grant Program, we didn't lose any programs, which is very different from where we were last year, if you recall. The Golden State Teacher Grant Program was not in the budget. That was a big, heavy lift with a lot of partners and AICCU leading the way in our state. In terms of what was the main difference, I heard Jessica mention it, but I want to make sure that we uplifted. The main difference between Cal Grant MCS from the prior year to this one is $688 million, where it is currently proposed as of today. If we could go to the next slide. Top of mind for us, though, is we can't just stabilize. We have to address mission critical issues, which is what I want to discuss with you. We did submit several BCPs. So you see on here 6. The ones in yellow are mission critical, which means that will be top of mind for Justin, for Danny, myself, and the entire team, because it takes an entire team to produce a BCP, to defend it. Yes, in a hearing, it's up to our government relations team, but it's an entire unit. I want to talk about the first one because there are 3 mission critical investments that we simply cannot stop advocating for. Certainly our IT infrastructure. And if you recall, that specific BCP was about a backup server, which is what most state agencies and most bodies have. It is a fundamental need. It is mission critical. It also was one position ongoing for a system architecture. Every agency is required to have one. We don't have one here at CSAC. We've never been provided one. So from our perspective, the IT is about compliance and safety, right? Cybersecurity is really important. So you see that one in yellow. You also see our CSAC auditing resources, and it was twofold. It's auditing for finances and programs. On the other end, it's auditing for compliance, meaning we are required by law to do auditing at both in state and federal programs. And so there is currently a backlog. So that BCP summarized how long it would take for us to meet those backlogs, what is already in statute and law. That team currently reports to our Chief Deputy Catalina Missler. And I think, I'm looking at Catalina, we have 3 auditors? 4 auditors for the entire state, for every Cal Grant participating institution. I'm looking at your faces and I know that you know that is not enough. And so that BCP is mission critical for us to be able to maintain and operate, and certainly to make sure that dollars get to the right students. And then the last one, our mission critical legal support. You all know there's a lot of litigation and issues that we are tracking. What you maybe have not had full transparency of, which we made very clear in our BCP, is all of the appeals and questions that we get from students, whether they are facing barriers at the institution or through our own applications. That all ends up in our tiny legal team. And I'm looking at them now, right? It's Edmundo and Ana. And they spent a significant amount of time categorizing all the workload that they have not been able to keep up with. It's just one position. It's not to say that any of the other BCPs that are on here are not important. I want to elevate that when it comes to relocating in our physical office space, every agency was denied in the state. What you see on here is ongoing cost. That is very unlikely. When it comes to the customer assistance and processing unit support, you know that in our budget solutions for our budget, we did elevate and prioritize student assistance. So we have a Band-Aid solution, but we need a long-term solution. The good news there is that becomes then a philanthropy ask, right? Certainly you can't use philanthropy for state employees, but we could try to figure out how we could augment our capacity there. Our CAPU unit is critical. They are the folks answering the phone, answering questions from institutions and students, and that is a very small dollar amount that we should continue to elevate, whether it's philanthropy or through the state budget process. The last one, Golden State Teacher Grant Program. I didn't put it in yellow because we did ask for the full $75 million ongoing. That is what we projected is how California can stabilize that program and continue to meet its teacher shortage needs. It was denied. And what that typically means is both houses will need to wrestle with that. And there are a lot of partners already engaged with that program as well. Next slide. So as we think about our BCPs, we also think about all of our other priorities, which are important to our segments, our students, and to all of you. This slide shows you what we're going to be focused on in terms of what happens in February, March, April. That's really our timeline, 3 months. And it's really based on the priorities that you identified back in September. The first one is securing resources for critical operations. That's very much about the 3 BCPs that I just spoke about. And in addition to that, expanding our CalSOAP and RCO impact. Our CalSOAPs and RCOs have been working closely with us. As you know, there are only 16 CalSOAPs. Since the year 1978, there are 2 CalSOAPs adopted in law that have not been funded through state law. But we know that they have increased needs, that they have the ability to do more, they need to be adequately resourced. So we know that there's going to be some advocacy in that area. Certainly, as Jessica mentioned, always concerned about protecting the resources that we already have, particularly because anything can happen. I know you're all seeing national news about inflation. So we kept that on here, right? Protecting our resources, being very grateful is always a part of our advocacy. Ensuring equity for all, that's the work that Jessica has been leading with SB 323. It is a bill. We'll have to determine our advocacy strategy there. And then advancing student-centered programs. That one is really about our Dreamer Service Incentive Grant Program. In your blueprint, you envision making changes so that we could actually help meet students' basic needs. We feel very confident that that's something we can move forward. It is a cost-neutral solution, right? So that's really about helping students receive their grant in time. And if you recall, that one is, at its simplest form, it's right now we ask a D6 student to volunteer and we can't pay them until the end. So we are asking the most vulnerable population to volunteer, and then we can't pay them. We don't do that in any other scenario. It also doesn't help students meet their basic needs. So we have trailable language that proposes that we're able to pay students at least or compensate students at least on a monthly basis, right? Not having them wait until the term ends. And then the last one is connecting college affordability pathways for adult learners. I know many of you are leading these conversations locally at the statewide level on Workforce Pell. CSAC will have to play a role. The proposed budget stays silent on that, but we know it's headed our way. We know that every state will have to have a plan by July 1. And so it stays in our advocacy strategies in terms of where we're headed. And for us, it's Workforce Pell is the on-ramp to financial aid in this state. There has to be a connection between Workforce Pell and Cal Grant C and other forms of aid. CSEC stands ready to serve the state of California and to help create those connections for adult learners and their families. So these are where the team will be investing their time. What is not on here is anything else that can come at us, right? Where we will need to pivot, provide expertise, provide numbers. In fact, we're already getting requests for analysis and data. Of course, on this slide, we also acknowledge Cal Grant reform because we know that many of our partners still have legislation that has been introduced that will require the legislature to wrestle with that. Just so that I'm clear on our end, right, is Cal Grant reform continues to be a priority of the commission. And that means when we wrestle with programs like Workforce Pell's being connected to Cal Grant C, that is us addressing Cal Grant reform. That is how California can make an investment, a down payment on Cal Grant reform. Next slide, please. So in terms of being able to summarize, it's also really important to mention that our segments are not currently seeing a reduction in their base funding, unlike prior years. And so what you see on this slide is a 5% base increase for UC, a 5% increase for CSU, a lot of successes for the community colleges, and the ability for them to keep up with growth and needs in that system. And then not on this slide, but just continuing to track that Workforce Pell will likely play a bigger spotlight as we head into the May revise. And I'll end with our last slide, which is a big save the date. So as we onboard Justin and Danny and San Diego and any other team members that will join us, the team and I will be focused on your advocacy day. Typically that happens at your March meeting. And so what we did last year is what we'll do this year, where it's already on your calendar. We don't need to add a new date. What we do is typically your committees would meet on the day before. We're gonna use that day of committees. That's your advocacy day. And then the next day we meet as a full commission. I will discuss it with the chair and the vice chair, but I think last year, those of you who could join us for advocacy day were able to join. It was optional. We know things come up. And so as many of you that can join us to help elevate, to share stories, that is hopefully what we're able to do on March 4th. And then I'm excited because Danny and Justin come with a lot of different ideas for how we can integrate students. And, they are most recently in those spaces. And so I think they're gonna bring new energy to that day. So with that, Jessica and I are happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Jessica and Dr. Gonzalez. We'll go ahead and open up for questions from our commissioners.
if I could, so first, just a quick comment. I can independently vouch for both Justin and Danny, simply outstanding additions to the commission. But then, I do have just a greater question around Workforce Pell, and that is, how is CSAC engaging the segments in that broader discussion around, what Workforce Pell can mean in terms of an on-ramp to other financial aid opportunities, as well as how does it further some of their programs, whether that's, UC Extension, continuing education at CSU, or just some of those core workforce-focused programs at the community colleges?
Thank you for that question, Commissioner Ferguson. It's not an area where we have been leading in yet. We are currently just responding to the Department of Finance, the administration, collaborating. Certainly, we house all the data, right? When a Californian applies for Workforce Pell, they're going to have to complete a FAFSA. We also have a legacy here in California of Cal Grant C. You have a program that historically receives 124,000 applications. These are eligible supplemental forms, meaning California right now could be awarding 124,000 Californians Cal Grant C, but instead it's a program that's capped at 7,661 grants. So as a state, we have a lot of opportunity. The reality here is that Workforce Pell is meant to address some of the short-term credentials, which have really expanded. The community college system is the one that's most ready, and I don't say that out of bias. I've seen that work. I know that is what they are doing. Other segments could be ready. They have other programs. But if you're looking at what's coming from the federal government, which California and other states will have to wrestle with, there are a lot of requirements, certainly outcomes data, a year's worth of results, and there are a few programs that right now could be stood up and be ready. But what we do know is those programs exist. Programs like apprenticeship, which the state has been investing in for years, right? Whether it's apprenticeship programs at our labor agency or Cal Grant C, there's a middle ground. And the best thing that we could do for Californians is to present them with college affordability pathways. So we have to design it in a way that it's an on-ramp. But to fully answer your question, Commissioner Ferguson, with any of our segments, as we are being asked to participate, we're happy to share any information or data that we may have as we are supporting the administration and the legislature.
Thank you, Commissioner Ferguson. And Dr. Gonzalez, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Commissioner Day and Commissioner Dow at Cal State LA.
Commissioner Gonzalez, do we have a copy of the slide deck in our packet? I'm not seeing it, and I did have a question on the chart with all of the BCPs.
It's not on our website. Was it sent in an email, Kat?
Yes, it was sent in an email in a calendar hold, but I will direct it to you right now.
Can we pull up the slide with the BCPs though, Jose? Thank you. I assume you have a question about the BCPs.
Yes, I appreciate that. Can you remind me what the difference is between those highlighted in yellow and those in the other colors?
Yeah, absolutely. The yellow ones are what we would categorize as mission critical, meaning especially in the IT space, that's cybersecurity, fraud. When it comes to auditing, that really puts at risk our ability to actually administer financial aid. Same with our legal supports. Those are mission critical for the California Student Aid Commission in 2026-27. So they're being highlighted because we have to go all out on our advocacy. None of these were included in the state budget. And so they're being highlighted so that it's top of mind. We're being transparent on what CSAC still needs to be successful in 26-27.
And the $5.5 million for the relocation of physical office space, can you walk us through that one?
Yeah, every state agency was asked to have a return to work policy. It was especially for any agency that reports directly to the governor. While the California Student Aid Commission does not, we seek to comply. And so we completed a BCP that would explain what we would need to be able to move, right? So for example, here in this facility, you have less than 40% capacity. We can't even have an all-staff meeting of all CSAC staff because we don't have the space. And so the BCP expressed how many cubicles, how many offices we would need. It attempted to help us relocate. Every other agency did the same thing. I'm seeing Commissioner Robinson nod. Every single agency was denied. And so we have been told no relocation resources are available to state agencies.
Thank you.
And just wanting to clarify, I re-forwarded that email to every commissioner, so you should have access to that PPT slides. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Other questions from our commissioners? Okay, do we have any, we'll turn over to Kat for public comments on this item.
Thank you, commissioners, for that engaging dialogue. We look forward to furthering this budget conversation. For public comment, item 8 is now open. For virtual attendees, please use the raise hand feature. We will start with in-person comments at the 11120 International Drive, Suite 100, Rancho Cordova. Then move to other locations and conclude with virtual comments. You will each have 2 minutes. At this time, we have 0 comments in Rancho Cordova. Moving on alphabetically with California State University, Los Angeles. Compton College. Riverside County Office of Ed. San Bernardino Community College District. San Diego Community College District. University of California, Riverside. Lastly, we open it up to all virtual attendees. At this time, we have 0 public comments. I will hand it back to Chair Cifuentes.
Thank you so much. And Jessica, thank you so much for your leadership, and we're excited for you for your new opportunity, and just thank you for all you've done. Just want to echo what Dr. Gonzalez shared, and I'm sure we'll be still in communication and with you, and you made that offer for the tax question, so I don't know, season's coming up, so you may get a lot of messages, so thank you so much for your commitment. All right, at this time, we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 9. This is new business to be considered at future meetings. We're going to go ahead and open this up if there's any items to be considered for new business. Okay, seeing and hearing none, I'll go ahead and we'll do seek public comment on this item.
Thank you, Chair Cifuentes. For public comment, item number 9 is now open. For virtual attendees, please use the raise hand feature. We will start with in-person comments at the 11120 International Drive, Suite 100, Rancho Cordova. Then move on to other locations and conclude with virtual comments. You will each have 2 minutes. At this time, we have 0 public comments from the in-person Rancho Cordova location. Moving on to alphabetically the virtual space. California State University, Los Angeles. Compton College. Riverside County Office of Ed. San Bernardino Community College District. San Diego Community College District. University of California, Riverside. And now all virtual attendees. At this time, we have 0 public comments. I will hand it back to Chair Cifuentes.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll move on to item number 10. Any comments on items not on this agenda? So do we have any public comment for any items that were not on this agenda? I'll go ahead and turn it back to Kat to ensure we verify from all locations.
Thank you, Chair Cifuentes. So for public comment item number 10, we will now open it up to virtual attendees. We will start with in-person comments at the 11120 International Boulevard, Suite 100, Rancho Cordova. Then move on to virtual attendees and other locations. You will each have 2 minutes. At this time, we have 0 in-person public comments. Moving on to the virtual space. California State University, Los Angeles. Compton College, Riverside County Office of Education, San Bernardino Community College District, San Diego Community College District, University of California, Riverside, and all virtual attendees. At this time, we have 0 public comments, so I will turn it back to Chair Cifuentes. Thank you.
So much. All right, at this time, we're going to move to item number 11, adjournment. And before we do that, I do want to take this time, we just jumped into business, Commissioner Ferguson, and we welcomed you. We want to definitely give you an opportunity to help close us out and maybe share a few words. And thank you for already jumping in and sharing your thoughts and your wealth of experience. So I'm going to take this time to turn this over to you. And if you'd like to just say a few words as you finish your first commission meeting.
Sure. Certainly enjoy all of the commissioners. I enjoy the work that we get to focus on. It's just epically critical to not only our students, but powering California's economy. At the end of the day, this is part of a process necessary to support our economy, to support the world, to be the leader of the nation, right? The saying that, everyone goes the way of California eventually, like that's real. And we lead, and this is part of our effort in leading. We have a robust financial aid program. We have a robust focus on trying to help our students achieve their success in our academic institutions. And just want to say thank you to the staff at the commission. Thank you to our fellow commissioners. But circling back on that staff piece, just a reminder that they power our ability to support financial aid, to support our students, to support their journeys, and just a huge thank you to their efforts day in and day out to help get that done. Broad scale, we need to stretch the state's dollar as far as we can, that taxpayer dollar as far as we can. We need to provide the maximum public return we possibly can. When we show value to the public, that's how they will continue to invest in our program, invest in our financial aid for our students, and really see the return, whether it's economic mobility, social mobility, those communal returns that come with financial aid and with educational opportunity.
Great. Thank you so much. Welcome to the team, and we're excited to work with you. All right, at this time, commissioners, thank you so much for your time this morning. We did finish at 12. I thought we were going to go over it. We did it. Thank you so much for your commitment as always. And I just hope this New Year's kicking off to a great start, and you're traveling already and just having a great 2026 so far. Before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I'll turn it over to our Executive Director, Dr. Gonzalez. Any final things to share? Anything that I forgot?
No, just Happy New Year's. And for our commissioners who joined us here in person, we'll stick around. We have some cake, and the staff is here to usher out former Commissioner David O'Brien.
Okay, thank you so much. And yeah, please eat 2 pieces of cake for me. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. If I can get a motion to adjourn our meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Okay, I got 2 seconds in person, so I think Commissioner Robinson and Cardosa as well. All right, commissioners, thank you so much. Have a great day, and we will adjourn our meeting at 12 o'clock p.m. exactly.